Hey, what up, y'all? Mr. Cruz here, the hardest worker in the room. What is good? Here today to give you guys a rundown on what license you really need to get. I know that can be intimidating as an artist when you hit somebody up or you're talking with a producer and they're like, all right, man, send me a link to some of your stuff. And then you go to their store and then let's say you click on like, all right, man, look, what? $100? They're asking for $100 for this track. So I'm here to break down what each of these mean and which one is right for you in your specific project. So for starters, you can start out with the MP3. So MP3 is obviously, I mean, if you're a musician, you know what an MP3 is. It's a lowest quality possible or lowest format. Gosh, I don't know what I'm saying. It's the smallest format of a music file that you can get where you really don't lose a whole lot of quality. You lose some, but you don't lose a whole lot. But it's obviously a file that's small enough for you to manage. Hopefully, be able to email and send to people, or when somebody sends it to you in a Dropbox link, you click it. It doesn't take forever for it to load. So that's an MP3. MP3 is a single file, single audio file, and in that you don't really have a whole lot of flexibility as far as like making the beat longer or changing the levels. In my opinion, getting an MP3 is really only useful if you're doing like a quick little mixtape, or you want to do like a freestyle that you want to do on like, Instagram Reels or TikTok or something like that. That's just like, hey, you and your boys are messing around. You kind of just want to put something together real quick to put out on SoundCloud and stuff like that. That's MP3. To me, that's the one that I would go with. I would go with an MP3. If I'm an artist and I see WAV license, the WAV is going to be the highest quality WAV possible. So for me, I do 48 kilohertz and 24-bit WAV files. So that gives you the best sounding quality possible. And it also gives you enough room for you to be able to dumb it down to an MP3. Here's another little tidbit. I know for some distributors, like if I want to say DistroKid maybe, but they still require you to upload your files at 44.1 kilohertz and 16-bit. So if I have a WAV file that's 48 and 24, I have the flexibility in order to dumb that down. Now, if I were to try and do that with the MP3 license, I wouldn't be able to, because I can't take an MP3 and make it into a WAV, or at least take an MP3 and bring that up to the sound quality of a WAV. So I can only kind of go backwards. I can only like scale backwards when it comes to audio files. So WAV, this would be the same thing. If I was doing a mixtape, or just kind of like messing around, I would take the high quality WAV if I really feel like I really want that high quality. Also, if I found a beat that is really slapping, I really like it. Not only that, but I like the mix. Like the mix sounds clean and professional. And I also like the structure. If I like how the producer had arranged it and, left enough room building into the bridge and going into the chorus and all these other things, if I can mess around with that, like if I can work as an artist within the parameters and the boundaries that this producer has set up for me in this single WAV license, I would go for a WAV license and then put that on the album. It's rare that that's going to happen, just because the way like us producers kind of arrange our beats. But if you like it, then go for the WAV license. Like that's very possible that you can do that, and you can save a lot of money too. All right, next up we got the tracked out license. The tracked out license, I'm gonna show you what it looks like here. All right, so here is a beat that I'm working on, and as you can kind of see, well, you can kind of take it up here. We can look at this up here. So that means I have a channel that's just a kick, just a snare, a hi-hat, splash, and all these other things. So I have all these elements that are making up this beat. So that means when I get the tracked out license, I'm going to get a zip folder. And in that zip folder, I'm going to have one audio file that's just the kick, one audio file that's just the snare, one that's just the hi-hat, so on and so forth. So what that gives me is that gives me a whole lot of room and a lot of flexibility to be able to edit and mix and arrange that song however I see fit. So if I literally just uploaded a beat that ended up being 1 minute and 46 seconds long. So if an artist wants that and be like, well, I want the song to be like, I want to be able to add another verse to the end of it. Well, if you get the tracked out license, you can add 17 verses to the end of it if you want to. You can make that track 30 minutes long if you want. But it also gives you the room to be able to like, all right, at this part, I want to take the hi-hats out. At this part, I want the whole beat to drop and be taken out, and like, I just want the melody or just want the piano. That gives you, it's not you, but also the mix engineer, a whole lot of room to be able to do that. And plus you can get your own professional mix. If you have somebody that you go to for mixing, they will thank you 1,000 times over if you give them the tracked out license, or the track outs, or sometimes we call them the stems. Next up in my store, I have the unlimited lease. So the difference between these two is this one pretty much gives you everything else that you get. These kind of scale backwards. So that means if you get the unlimited license, if you get the unlimited lease, you also get the track outs, you also get a wave, you also get an MP3. If you get a wave, you get a wave, but you also get the MP3 too. If you get the track out, you get the track out, but you also, so on and so forth. So with the unlimited, this is really for professional artists who have a much larger audience base, who don't want to be bogged down by any kind of contractual obligation to the number of streams that they can have. So different producers, oftentimes, it comes with the contract, because these are, we are producing an art that we're allowing you as the artist to reproduce. So with that comes a contract dictating, the terms of this agreement that you're buying into. So what the unlimited provides, especially as a benefit to a lot of bigger artists or artists who kind of have a larger platform, is it does not put a cap on how many streams, how many views, how many radio stations you can put it out to, how many music videos. If I have a song that's like really, really dope, and let's say I want to get a remix legally, right? Legally, if I want to put out a remix to that song, I'd have to go back and buy the beat again. The unlimited license kind of removes that. I've never run into an issue where an artist has tried to take advantage of that or anything like that. I kind of work with artists, if they buy the MP3 and then they come back and be like, hey man, well, I really need the track outs. I usually work with them and be like, all right, well, just pay me the difference between that so you can get the stems, and we can work that out. Lastly is the exclusive. Now you just notice that the exclusive license is not listed on my store. There's a reason for that. I kind of only do it on a case-by-case basis. With an exclusive license, what you get is you get the exclusive rights to be able to use that beat or that instrumental. That does not mean that once you buy that beat, once you buy the exclusive license, that you do not have to pay that producer ever again. With each and every one of these licenses, you should, if you want to do things right and legally, right, my contract and every single contract out there, if it's a legit producer, has this in their contract, right, has this in their lease agreement, you have to give the producer their cut. So if, Lil Wayne buys a beat and then he puts that beat out, and then that song that he puts out makes, $5,000, I'm entitled to a cut of that $5,000 because I produced it. Even though he bought a tracked out license or a wave license or an unlimited or exclusive, he still owes me because I have ownership of my masters, right? I did not sell my publishing. I did not sell my masters. I just sold him the exclusive rights to be able to use the beat. What that also means is that he is the only one who is allowed to use that beat. So if Young Thug came and said yo, Mr. Cruz, I want this Apple Rose beat. All right. And then Joyner Lucas comes and he's like, yo, I want that Apple Rose beat. All right, man. But I also gave it to Young Thug. He's like, all right, well, how much for the exclusive? And then we work out terms and agreement. I sell him the exclusive. I now got to go back to Young Thug and be like, hey man, can't use that beat because Joyner Lucas just bought the exclusive. So Joyner Lucas is the only one who could put out a song to that beat. With this comes the misconception that I feel like artists have, where hey, well, I bought the exclusive, I don't owe you anything else. You still do. You still have to give credit to that producer, and you still have to give that producer their cut. If I'm on DistroKid, so on DistroKid it allows you to have splits, where if you have 6 people on a song, however much money that song makes in their streams, that gets split up evenly amongst those 6 people, or you can kind of set percentages. That's a whole nother conversation to get into, as far as how much money does the artist get versus how much does the producer get. But for now, this is kind of what I wanted to explain to you guys, as far as what each one of these licenses are for and what they do. So that way you can kind of get a better understanding as far as what do you need. If you're working on a mixtape, you don't really need to go for the unlimited license. If you're working on an album that you really want to put out, you want to put music videos and you want to shop it around to labels and stuff, then you probably want to get the unlimited, or you want to get an exclusive license, but you definitely want to have the track outs to those so that you can get it professionally mixed and mastered. But anyways, that's what I got for you guys. Hopefully it's helpful, clears up some confusion about that stuff. You guys have any questions, let me know in the comments. Your boy Mr. Cruz out.